What's going on, guys? Cordy here, and welcome back to another tier list. Today's video, we're going to be going over the jungle. There's a lot of heroes you can play in the jungle. This is personally my favorite role. I play a lot more jungle than I do caster and carry. But yeah, junglers are pretty awesome. There's a lot more junglers you can do, a lot of things, a lot of heroes you can put in the jungle. So this video is going to be a little bit more longer than the other ones, just because there's more, and there's also a few more on here that you might be thinking, why are they not on the tier list when they could be? There's just so many heroes that you could put in the jungle that I haven't really tried a lot of those. But let's go and just get to the junglers that I do have that are always played in the jungle or guaranteed played in the jungle. All right, so first up is gonna be Rampage. Rampage is just a really good hero. He in my support video I put him pretty low, but in the jungle and in the solo lane, he is top tier. He has really great clear. He has a decent gank. He has really great survivability when you're rediving the backline. As a jungler, your main priority is getting to the backline and just causing havoc. You're trying to kill them, you're trying to push them out of the fight. Rampage does that really well. With Rampage, there's different builds you can build in the jungle. You can go full damage, you can go hybrid, or you can go full tank. With Rampage, you're mainly going to be going full tank. You're just going to get nothing but tank items. You're basically a second solo laner, but you're jungling. And Rampage's clear is really great in order to do that. So late game, he'll be just a massive front line, but his clear doesn't suffer in the early game when you're jungling. So that's what makes Rampage a really great jungler. Okay, next up is Sereth. I haven't really played a lot of Sereth. I've been playing her recently. She's actually really fun. She has really great damage. Her clear is insane. But the only bad thing is your kit, you have to be really close in order to get your kit off. And sometimes whenever you go in, you don't really have any hard CCs to prevent it from leaving you. So it's kind of rough to play Sereth. I'm going to actually put her in the A tier. I think she's pretty solid. Not a terrible jungler. Her clear is amazing. Her damage is really great if you can get it off. She's just a little bit kind of tricky to play whenever you're initiating or diving the backline. Next up is going to be Shinbi. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the two mages in here. The two caster assassins. Mage assassins, they do crazy damage. When you get to late game, they do insane damage. I have videos, plenty of videos of just deleting the backline. The only problem is getting to that stage. Your clear is terrible in the beginning. Your clear is not that great in the jungle. You take a while to get online. They're definitely more viable in like the mid lane, where you can get like a lot of good farm, that we can get those items late game and then just delete people. But if you're playing them strictly in the jungle, their clear is really bad. It takes a while for them to get online. You have to get lucky with some kills, and you have to stay in lane to get some farm. It's so much easier to get those levels that way. So with that being said, Shinbi and Countess, I'm gonna put them in the B tier. When they're late game, they're really good. They're really good when it comes to late game because their damage is disgusting. You can literally just one shot the backliners. But getting to that point, it is a long time. It's a struggle to getting to that point. You need to have a really perfect early game in order to get to that late game phase where you can delete the backliners. For them, I'm gonna put them in the B tier. All right, next up is gonna be Chimera. Chimera is just Chimera is like your true jungler, I feel. Chimera can go like multiple build paths. It can go full damage, it can go hybrid, it can go full tanky. His clear is really great. He has good sustain whenever it comes like the early mid game. Late game, they're gonna be building anti-heal, so your sustain is gonna fall off kind of hard. You have a good ultimate. He's just a really solid jungler. He also can solo pretty well, so if the enemy team is kind of preoccupied, he can go and solo those objectives pretty easily. So you have to always be wary of where Chimera is at on the game. He does everything really well, but he doesn't do anything amazing. He when he comes to late game, he doesn't have that survivability like a Rampage can. He can, even if you're going into full on, I probably prefer going either full on tank or hybrid with Chimera. And once he gets onto you, it's kind of hard to stay on somebody, especially if you're getting like CC'd and getting poked down. He's an all-in kind of hero. He can't leap away like a Rampage does. He only leaps to a target, so he's a full committed hero. Chimera is just a real all-around solid jungler. He is kind of like the base of the jungle. Like if you're looking at the jungle tier list, like okay, here's Chimera. These heroes are either better than him or below him. He's like pretty much in the center, average. Just a really solid hero. Next up is Fang Miao. Fang Miao is one of my personally my favorite jungler. He has great clear. He has great survivability. He does have an ultimate, so late game when those shields become a problem, if there is shields in the team, those shields become a problem. You can ult through that with cooldowns and with items. He can hit multiple shields up. He has a dash that can get him in and out of situations. He's just a really solid, a really good jungler. His clear is really good as well. This is really tough. I kind of want to put him in SS tier, like in the jungle tier list. As far as like junglers, I want to put him top. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. He's a really solid pick. I'm gonna put him in SS. I'm gonna then you could make an argument just for being S tier and Rampage is better, but all right. Next up is gonna be Grux. Same thing with like Feng Mao. Grux is really great clear. Grux has good CC when you have that pull. He has a dash to get in and out of a bad situation. He has an ultimate that could stun and give him a power increase, so you'll build him a little bit more hybrid and tanky. With Grux though, I'm gonna put Grux at S tier. I think Feng Mao is a little bit more safer than what a Grux is. Feng Mao gets a shield that blocks the crowd control, where Grux can't. Grux, you can get your ult accidentally canceled out. Your dash can be canceled out. Your abilities can just get canceled out on Grux. And he doesn't have the best of dashes. With Grux has a line dash. Feng Mao can go vertical with his dash. He can teleport vertically to get him to like a better situation. He doesn't bring the hard crowd control like a Grux does when it comes to survivability and doing damage. He's just a little bit better in my opinion than a Grux. But Grux is really good. Honestly, either one, people could definitely make the argument for swapping those two, but again, it's kind of more of a personal preference here. But I think Feng Mao is just a little bit better than Grux, but Grux is really solid. All right, Kallari is a little tough one. So in pubs, like in casuals, the quick play, Kallari is really good. Kallari is like A, maybe even S tier. She can stomp. She has a lot of damage. Has great burst. People aren't really warding that well for Kallari. Whenever you switch over to ranked, people are more aware of what Kallari can do. They're more aware of warding. They'll ward a little bit. They'll ward even harder whenever there's a Kallari on the team, which is going to drop her down a lot. She's a little hard to do. Whenever she does go in, people are going to be saving their abilities to cancel Kallari's abilities or to stun her out or anything like that. Her ranking drops a little bit harder if you're playing ranked. I'm going to put Kallari just at A tier. She's good in casuals. She's kind of bad in ranked. She is a little tougher to play at a higher level of Paragon. Okay, next up is Wukong. Wukong, I don't like Wukong. I think he has a horrible kit. His kit makes him want to fight with his clones being spawned out. You want to fight, but a lot of his abilities, you push them away with your cudgel, or if you leap, your leap doesn't really get you that very far. Your cooldowns are the same for both stance switches, which is pretty bad. All Wukong he's not really good at team fight. All Wukong does really well is split push and solo objectives. When it comes to late game, he can solo objectives pretty quickly because of his clones. He does damage, and he's safe because he has a lot of cooldowns in his kit, and then he has cooldown items possibly, so he's gonna be a little more safer to get away. Just kind of a distraction, really, is what Wukong is. He doesn't bring anything to the table other than soloing objectives and split pushing. Really boring kit. Don't like Wukong. I think he needs to get redesigned. I'm gonna leave Wukong at C tier. I just don't like that. Don't like that hero. Okay, next up is Xena. Xena is one of those other like true assassins for me. You can build her a little bit like damagey, or you can go hybrid. I don't think she's that amazing tanky, but you can build her like hybrid. You're going in, you're damaging, you're doing all your abilities. They did nerf her, which is kind of rough. Her damage got scaled down, so it's a little bit rougher for her to do. I'm gonna put Xena in the A tier. She's better than the mage assassins, but she's not better than a Grux or a Feng Mao or a Rampage. She's just kind of one of those mediocre junglers. You can definitely have a solid game when you play her, but she's not going to be as amazing as the others. There are a couple of other heroes that you can play in the jungle. I mean, with jungle, there's a lot that you can play. You can play people like Quang. You can do Sevarog. I've seen a Rev before, Steel as well. I personally don't have a lot of experience with those heroes, and to me, the Quangs, Sevarog, and Steel, they're more suited for the solo lane. They're better in the solo lane. So I'm not going to include them on the tier list, but those are definitely viable. You can play them in the jungle if you're good with that hero and you understand how jungling works. You can definitely play them, but for the junglers, this is my tier list. I think again, with the Feng Mao and Grux, you can definitely swap them or put them on the same tiers as the S tier, but those top three are really solid. They're always going to be picked, sometimes banned. but you'll see them like being first picked a lot if they're through. And then you have your mediocres, Sereth, Chimera, Kalari, Xena. Mediocres, you can definitely play them, and you won't have a bad game. You won't have an amazing game, but you won't be like terrible feeding or anything like that. And then the beats here, we got our mage assassins. Once they buff the magical damage, the clearing that you can do in the jungle, the mage assassins are gonna dominate. They do insane amount of damage. I have a video of Shinbi just completely one-shotting the backline. Didn't do anything else but ult the backline, and 100 to 0 them. It's insane. Countess too. Countess can go in, use all her abilities, and then just delete that backliner. So until they buff the clearing time on the mage assassins, then they're gonna be kind of in the lower tier. And then Wukong is just Wukong. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for the jungle tier list. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below how you would switch these up. I mean, these could probably be a little bit more compared to the other tier list. This one's a little bit more, this could be a little bit more opinionated. Like the video, subscribe for future content. We are going to be doing the solo laners next. Also, I go live at twitch.tv/Cordy Thursday through Sunday at 6 Central. You can find me on Discord. You can join me. You can follow me on Twitter. All the links will be in the description below. All right, guys, take care, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.